trees, your yellow leaves move me. Dancing moves your painted red shakes the room. When I get there, I'll let my feet roam. When I get there, I'll break in your arms, I'll lose control. When I get there, I'll know the answer. Let me know when I get closer. Winterland, you're my sailing ship, guiding when you head for your trip right out of this.
Hey guys, happy Friday. This is Overpass Live. I'm Eric. I make apps. This is the weekly live stream where we just hang out and talk about whatever we want to talk about. Now, the last couple of weeks, I've been having guests on and off. It's not that I don't like having guests. I was going to have one today, but I have to have a quick live stream today because I have stuff to do tonight, and I was just going to, just try to keep it to an hour or less today. So that's the reason why we don't. It's not because I thought it was like a dumb idea or whatever. All right, there's a lot happened this week. Well, for me, it was just working, just doing just be busy, and the kids go back to school. Kids going back to school, so my bachelor pad is a bachelor pad again. Yep, I'm gonna get some leopard skin sheets. I'm gonna hang up. I've already got the weight bench in the front room, dude. I'm rocking the whole bachelor pad sleazy guy kind of thing. I'm gonna get some silk sheets. I'm gonna grow a mustache. I'm gonna just start wearing a robe all the time. But anyway, so now that the kids are back to school, so that's it was nice having them here. All right, and also there was Rodrigo pointed out to me this week that, well, it's something I completely missed. I was going to do a video about it this week, which is about the in-app review API for Google Play, which we'll talk about a little bit more tonight. So that's kind of cool because it brings the Google Play review acquisition up to par with the Apple one. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's just say, let's see. John, hey John, how's it going? John Holland. Just noticed that under Overpass, the logo is a phrase, always hungry. So what's for dinner? Oven pizza? Might be. You know what? It does feel like I'm always hungry. Although today, I don't know what it is. It's like this morning, I went to the gym. I'm just feeling really good today. I think it's because school started back up, and I'm gonna start wearing gold chains and in a Hawaiian shirt, always open. But anyway, so all I've eaten today was like a bowl of oatmeal and a thing of yogurt. So I need to, it's gonna start to. Now that you mentioned pizza, yeah, man, start to get a little bit hungry. But yeah, I was telling somebody about how I got into IT, going from working in a factory to working at Canary Wharf, and how I was willing to do anything to get that job. Well, I wasn't willing to do anything to get that job, but I was working late nights and everything like that, just working ridiculous hours, reading everything I could. And he said, that's because you were hungry. And I love that. And now it's everywhere I say I'm always hungry, but that's kind of what we did. Like when I hire somebody, it seems like it's really hard to find somebody who's just really, I want to say desperate for the job, but they just know that every day they have to work to keep the job. Because I always feel like every job I've ever had, it's like on a daily basis, it's like I have to be deserving of that work. And maybe it's just my lack mentality. But let's see, we've got Moby Studios. Hello, Eric. How's it going? How's it going with the Admob? Seems nowadays you've relented on Admob revenue and focus a lot on client projects. Would you tell us the reason for this? Well, first of all, my big application was removed by Google Play a few months ago. I mean, again, it was just a constant thing. And every so often I think maybe I should just put it back up there. It had millions of downloads. It was bringing a lot of money every month. And when that got removed, the other apps do bring in revenue. But on the iOS side, I have to update those. And a lot of the existing stuff still in Corona. So it's just really a case of me actually putting them back up there. Now, I do believe in the Admob revenue because it's still money coming in. And I show my revenue reports on a regular basis, but it's not nearly as high as it was before. And the client work is just you know, it's like guaranteed income. It's like putting something out there on the app stores is still, I mean, passive income is way, way, way nicer than active income, right? Because you go to sleep. I mean, there was a time where I was making £5 an hour. I mean, on the 24-hour clock, I was like thinking it was like, you know, I went to bed and I made £40. I made £40. Oh, yeah, I went for a run and I made £1, or I made £5, whatever. All right, so it was like it's just really nice when just things are just coming in into something you worked on before and it's still coming in. And I need to do that again, I know, but I've been so, you know, once you get into active income and even working a job, you know what this is like. I mean, well, you might know what this is like. Where you get into a job, can you guys hear me? You should probably ask at the beginning. Yeah, when you get into a job and you're working so hard at your job that you don't have time to actually work on the stuff that you want to work on, the stuff that you know, the stuff that could bring in passive income. Because every time you do something with passive income, it's a risk, right? There's no guarantee on it. Now, when it comes to Admob revenue too, I do think that making money through showing ads is getting more and more difficult because, you know, I think a lot of, you know, you've got GDPR, you've got the stuff in California, you've got all this kind of stuff. You got the IDFA permissions coming in on Apple or on iOS 14. So there's a lot of pushback on the fact that we're being served so many ads, and these ads are following us around over the place, which is, you know, as a consumer, I can kind of understand it. So, and lately I've been meeting so many people who are making money through in-app purchases and subscriptions and straight out app sales that I'm starting to really rethink the whole Admob thing. The nice thing about Admob was that you can make money from a 10-year-old, like, because they might click on an ad, they might look at something, right? You're not, you know, they don't need to have a credit card or anything. And a lot of Android users, you know, they might not, you know, they might be in low cost countries and everything, but, you know, so I do start to question that from time to time. And I hope that doesn't sound bad for me saying that. Mega Man third. He walked your third this time. James. Hey, James, how's it going? James is fourth. At 404, Mr. Wroolie. Yes, thank you for calling me Mr. Wroolie. Thank you for the formalities here at 404. Call me Eric. I make apps. Mr. Wroolie, how is your Admob revenue doing? What is the biggest app currently bringing in the most amount of money, even if it's a very little bit of money? What is the biggest one? I want to look at it, but I'm not exactly sure which app it is. I think it's one of the, well, I know what it is. It's still EarSpy on iOS. However, it's dramatically dropped since the beginning of July. So I think I need to update those libraries. And we're going to have to update them in a few weeks anyway. One of the issues I have, and this goes back to the conversation we had last week about cross-platform frameworks. One of the issues that I have is that a lot of my apps are in Corona, was done in Corona SDK, which is now Solar 2D, and it's now crowdsourced. And I don't know if the Admob libraries or the Admob plugin has been updated on that. So I checked it like a couple weeks ago, and it hasn't. But that's going to be something where I'm going to have to go through and redeploy all those applications that are done in Corona, and hopefully that whoever created that plugin is going to update it with the latest version of Admob. This is one of the big benefits of going native as opposed to going cross-platform, is that if you're relying on a third-party developer, especially an open source, you know, someone who's just doing it to help out the community, which is great. But then you're hoping that they're going to update the library to keep up with everything, or somebody in the community will. Let's see. But yeah, let me look at the next one, because the only way I can look at the which one makes the most money is I'd have to look at my Admob, and I don't actually no, I told you it was iOS, EarSpy on iOS. But I think after that, it's one of the bubble bath games, the language learning games. Billy says, anyone else Admob revenue went down a little bit since the start of September? Let me have a look at mine. I showed you guys this before, and and it's a little bit embarrassing. I'm not gonna show you like a wart or a mole or anything. Can you guys hear me? Just make sure you guys hear me. Let's see. Let me show you my daily revenue report. just so you can see, because this is something that, again, it's not a secret that my revenue has dropped a lot. Here we go. So, September 2020. What happened to all the other dates? Oh, for some reason, all the other tabs have gone missing. I'll have to ask Rowena about this. So, okay, so this month I made £6.20 on the first, £8.19. God, it's just really bad, and no in-app purchases. Actually, it does take a while for the for iTunes, because the report gets updated daily, but the stats aren't available on iTunes until a little bit later on. So that could be kind of an issue. All right, cool. So I've been told that the sound sounds good. Thanks, Mark. So let's see. Actually, you know what? It's weird not having a guest here. It's not weird. It's weird. Okay, next week we'll try to get a guest. You guys have any suggestions who we should invite on? Cord Funk, hey, how's it going? Let's see. So Billy, anyway, to ask you a question, if they gone down a bit in September, I can't tell because for some reason the other tabs have gone missing on this report. I think it's either, I don't know what happened to them. Let's see. Yeah, Cord Funk is here. Hey, how's it going, Cord Funk? Yo, Cord Funk. Top video says, hello, Eric. Happy Friday. Is it possible to extract source code from an APK file? There are there are ways to do it. I've seen like Java, like APK decompilers. And like in the old days of Ionic, and I don't know if this is still the way, like I used to be able to download an APK. So you could either use a plugin in Chrome, or you could go to like APK, I'm thinking APK jar. What is it? The site is called APK something, where you can actually download the APK. And an APK is just a zip file. It's a compressed file. So if you change the extension from APK to .zip, then you could just unzip it, look at the folder contents, and if it's compiled, you should be fine. If it's something like with a web view like Ionic, then what I found was like lots of times I have like prospects come to me and say, oh, we got this app, but the developer just, they went away, or we're having a fight with the developer. And I would look at the app and think, that looks like an Ionic app. And then I would just download it, and I said, I have access to all the source code. Of course, I don't have the key store or anything else that's important, but it was kind of scary how easy it was to get access to that code. But that's like in most cases, it should be compiled. I mean, especially if you've gone native, or most of the cross-platform frameworks that are not WebView based are compiled. Let me know if you guys know any different than that. That's my experience anyway. Bhupinder Maria said, hello, sir. Which ad network to choose for a beginner? I think I still like Admob, because Admob is the easiest one to set up, especially for a beginner. Like Facebook Audience Network is good, but you have to set up like a Facebook account. You probably have a Facebook account, but you have to set up you have to go set up a Facebook app in this Facebook developer console. I think you have to get approval for the Facebook Audience Network. Do you? Or I'm just thinking about the login. But it's like a whole bunch more steps involved. So if you do Admob to begin with, because then you can add, you could add in the other, like using mediation, you could add in other stuff through there too. Let's see. Matthew says, last month, my first $100 month ever. Dude, your stock is on the rise. So what, from Admob. So what have you done differently, Matthew? Have you done anything, or is it just the app? Okay, here's a question for you, Matthew. Has your RPM increased, or so what's increased? Has it been your RPM, your number of impressions, or your number of downloads? Number of downloads and number of impressions could be the same. Bhupinder says, I tried Admob, Facebook Audience Network, MoPub, and Appledeal, but not generated good revenue. Okay, so this is one of the things about ads as well. You have to and it's difficult to make a decent revenue with ads. You have to have a lot of impressions. You have to have a lot of downloads. You have to have let's say every time an ad is viewed in your application, you would get like a fraction of a cent. If it's a clicked, then you would get more. But so RPM is a revenue per mil, which is the revenue per 1,000 impressions, or you got the impression RPM, you got the RPM. But so you got the RPM, the revenue per mil, and usually that's like $1. So you're talking about 1,000. So let's say $1 for like a banner or something like that, or $3, whatever. It changes, it fluctuates, so it's either going to be higher or lower than that. But regardless, take that, divide it by 1,000, right? It's like a very small percentage. So if you get 20 downloads a day and show 20 ads a day, then it's going to be really, really low. And that's going to be, unless you have like a really high eCPM, you might want to start looking at doing some in-app purchases and stuff. Let's see. Matthew says, can I put a full screen ad on one-page app? It should be in a transition. So it should be like you go from one screen to another. It should be a transition. Now, having said that, my app was a one-page app. So I would do it like if they click something and then unclicked it or something like that. So like I had like a start button and stop button on the YearSpy app. So what I started doing is like when you click start, it would start because you don't want to see an ad at that point. And when you hit stop, then it shows an ad. And at first I was doing it every 4 times. And then I was doing it pretty much every time. Or if I was to go from like that screen, I had a menu, so you could go to like another. I had a few like an in-app purchase menu. So like have something like that when they go there. But you have to be resourceful about it. And technically, I mean, what you don't want to do is, what they're trying to do is keep accidental clicks from happening. So if you're just like looking at an app, like a page, you're not doing anything, you're not scrolling, you're not clicking anything, you're just like, you don't want an app to pop up, because they might be tapping on something. However, and you guys know what this is like, if you look at a website and you're like, it's loading, you got an ad loading and it pushes everything else down, you accidentally click on that ad. That's the kind of stuff I think they're trying to stop from happening. And it's kind of sad that it does happen that way anyway. Bhupinder says, I'm a new developer and some of my games are having more than 1,000 downloads, but not getting good revenue. Okay, so Bhupinder, where are your ads being shown? Oh, thanks for smashing the like button and the dislike button. Where are your ads being shown? Is it like so the number of downloads is not that as important as the number of impressions you're getting per day. If you're talking about ad revenue, so how many impressions are you getting a day, and how many of those are per user? So, like when my when my app was, I had like an Admob consultant contact me. He didn't contact me. It was like some mass email and said, if you want to speak to a consultant, you could. This was years ago. And I had a guy look at my app and he says, I noticed you're not showing any ads. And I said, I am. Every 4th time it opens. He's like, you need to show more ads. He was like, you need to show more ads until people start to complain. Like, that's not what he said, but that's basically what I did. It was like, you need to, like, if you're just showing banners, that's not going to work. If you're showing interstitials, but like not very often, it's not going to work. The downside is if you show way too many ads, then you're going to, like, you're just going to get bad reviews and nobody's going to download it. You've seen applications out there that all they do is serve ads, and they're terrible. Bootha Sampson, hey Bootha, how's it going? If Admob disables my ads in my app and I let it to continue being in the store, is there any problem? Because I have no problems with my apps being Admob free. I don't think so. It shouldn't do. Because I wouldn't imagine so, unless the reason that it was disabled is like you're violating the policy on both and Google Play just doesn't know about it yet. I don't know if you guys can hear those sirens outside. So yeah, if it's something like, if it's something where it's like accidental clicks or whatever, and they think it's, they've disabled it for that, then you should be okay. But if it's something like for content-wise or something, then possibly. Chris Bala says, do you use Android Studio on your Mac? Hey, Chris, how's it going? Any issues with USB debugging on devices? Sis Catalina, none of my Samsung devices work. Dude, Chris, I do. It's not just Android Studio. It's anytime I use the debugger emulator. And it was not just on this Mac. It was also on my MacBook Pro, where for some reason, I'm constantly unplugging, plugging back in, unplugging, plugging back in. So I don't know if you guys can see this. I've got this like, let me move Chris's picture out of the way here. So you can see I've got like 4 devices here. I've got another one. So, and I've got all these USB cables. So I kind of set, that was my whole thing when I got my new Mac. I want to have like the ultimate nerd mobile workstation. So I've got like 4 phones in front of me. So I can just constantly just select from the drop down, just deploy to that and run it. The problem is that, and it's always been the same, some of these I have to unplug them back in, and I'm constantly going to the terminal and doing ADB devices, and it was like, nope, don't see anything. Unplug, plug back in, ADB devices, nope. And I do this like 3 or 4 times until the Mac recognizes it, and then I can deploy to it, right? And it's not just since Catalina for me. For me, it's been like for a few years, and at first I thought maybe it was my USB cables, maybe it's the phone I'm using, but it's like a problem that I have like a lot. So I'm constantly just, let me show you. So I've got 2 Android phones. No, I've got 1 Android phone that's actually switched on. So my, let me just share my screen here. Like this is what my life has become, a terminal. ADB devices. Yeah, so like now it's okay, but like a lot of the times it just loses the connection for no reason whatsoever. So I'll be in the middle of debugging, and then I'll be running it, and so I just like, okay, reload it, and then it starts try to run the ADB emulator, which takes forever. So I hate using the ADB emulator. I use a tool called Genymotion, which used to be free, and it's kind of the nice thing about it is like if I do ARM-based, it runs a lot faster. Basically, this runs on, I've actually paid for it now. Like before, for years, I was using the personal version. And so you could go through and add the different devices here, and it runs on VirtualBox. So it's, so it actually shows up it actually shows up as a physical device. And you know what? The emulator I'm running actually was receiving push notifications, which is something I've never been able to do on the simulators, unless it's something they just recently started to support. But that's like the tool I use for emulation, which is nothing to do with your question, Chris. But let's see. Vishnu, hey, how's it going, Vishnu? Let's see. Bhupinder says Admob sucks. Hashtag. Put the hashtag at the end. I'm getting Admob ads limited warning every time. Seems to be happening a lot to a lot of different people. Let's see. Meme sticker pack is my app name. Could you have a look at it, please, and give your opinion? Sure. Let's have a look here. So let's go to share my screen again. Meme sticker pack. Let's see. Is it okay? Vishnu, could you tell me which one is it? Is it this one? I'm assuming it's this one. Now, the first thing I'm thinking is that you're using using Kermit the Frog as your icon. So it's like first of all, can you do that? Can you use this? Because it's not content within the application. You're actually using a popular character. And let's see. Make my application. So, you've got a lot of. Okay. First of all, Vishnu, if you're still there, can you let me know if I'm actually looking at the right one? I just want to make sure. Yeah, Vishnu, if you're still around. Let's see, where were we? LL Cool J? LL says, yes, we can hear you. Thanks for setting up a Q&A session so we can share ideas. Hey, no problem. Oh, yeah, Vector Viral says, hey, Eric K, how's it going? I'm glad you use the C and the K, right? If you're going to get wrong, go all the way. But has any tried console ads for apps? What's console ads? I've never tried it. I don't know. Is that like a thing? LL says, is downloading APK to extract source code illegal? Probably. I don't know if it's illegal. I know you shouldn't. I don't know, because there are applications you can use to extract the APK. It's probably against terms and conditions. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if it's illegal or not. I mean, it's probably not a good thing, but it's also it's like is I mean, it probably is. Like if I left my door unlocked and somebody came in and stole everything, then it's that was illegal that they came in and stole everything. But at the same time, it's a job of the developer to try to do everything they can to obfuscate and keep people out. Vector Viral says, please suggest Admob alternatives. So you could try. There's lots of them out there. There's Facebook Audience Network. There's lots of them. We talk about them all the time. AppLovin, Amazon has one. There's loads of them out there. Let's see. Oleg says, thanks on advance. I may have missed some message from you there, Oleg. Let's see. LL says, seems like there are sites that clone apps from Google Play Store and users can download apps from there. There are. So there's like a Code Canyon. I think I did a video about this. So I have this big app called AirSpy, and I know I talk about this all the time, and it's like it's no longer in existence. It changed name. It was like bringing in a lot of money, but when there were so many clones out there, copycats, and they're still out there. It's infuriating. It just is. They use my description, they use my designs, they use everything. And then what really got it was when I found like a clone on Code Canyon, so you could actually go and clone your own. It was like this idea that was in my head, and it was like everywhere. But yeah, I mean, sometimes like it's not just cloning there's lots of clones of apps like popular games and stuff, and that's been reskinning. That's been around for a long time. Sorry if I'm talking too fast. Am I talking fast? I think I might get a job as an auctioneer. Hey, 45, 50, 50, sold. So but sometimes there's like, I was talking to, lots of times I'll be talking to prospects or clients, or even like we have like a consultancy call, and we'll be talking about something, and like check Code Canyon, because you could buy like a Flutter template. Like when I look at a lot, it's food delivery. Like you could find for a restaurant, you could find a template, a Flutter template with a whole Laravel PHP backend on Code Canyon, and spend $100 and reskin it, as opposed to building everything from scratch. And has Stripe integration and Admob integration and all this kind of stuff. So there is a lot of stuff out there that you can buy, but it's the clone stuff it's a bit more dodgy, I think. Graham, hey Graham, how's it going? What's up from Ontario, Canada? What's up from Didcot, UK? Didcot, England, UK, Europe. I know it's kind of. I shouldn't say Europe because Miss Edio tutorial says, hi, how to prompt my app in Google Ads without credit card. I only have PayPal. How to prompt my app in Google Ads without credit card. Oh, you mean how to I don't know. You'd have to check with Google on that. You're talking about doing like a search ad. I don't know the answer to that one. I've never actually done it with PayPal. Vishnu Singh says, have you ever sold code to be reskinned on Code Canyon? I want to try, but there's a lot of piracy and people resell your code. I have never sold anything on Code Canyon. But I mean, it's never even crossed my mind. I mean, it's like mainly because when I look at other people selling stuff on Code Canyon, there's like if I had an app that was working and it was working on the app stores in the Play Store, then that would be perfect. I definitely wouldn't want that source code being out there. I want to keep that to myself. If it wasn't working, then I could say, I'll put it on the Code Canyon. But man, have you ever seen the comments on a Code Canyon project? All the people asking for, this isn't working, or how do you do this? How do you do that? And they're like, that's like just having like another job. You're constantly supporting that thing. Somebody buys your code for $20, and then you spend 3 hours trying to answer their questions about whatever. To me, that doesn't look like a very good exchange of resources. And Code Canyon code is just so inexpensive anyway that even if you were to charge like, say, $500, you would, you'd be there's so many other applications out there. Somebody would come around and sell it for like 20. And yeah, I think and I don't know. I don't know. I've never met anybody who made a lot of money selling stuff on Code Canyon. I'm sure they exist, but I've just never met any. Rodrigo came to say hi. Have to leave. Hit the like button, guys. Yeah, thanks, Rodrigo. Glad you make it. We're only doing a short live stream today. We're only doing half an hour anyway, but you're probably gone. So Vishnu says, thanks for the answer, sir. You're welcome. Also, ECPMs are up. Oh, okay. Apavelli, happy Friday. Hey, Apavelli, you want to come back on in a future week? As you can see, Apavelli, I'm here alone again today. I should have called you, but we're doing a short live stream, so I thought we'll just rush through it. But yeah, it'll be good to have you on there because it was fun having you here. And maybe everyone won't complain about the lighting. We'll get the lighting right, Apavelli, if you come back. Shatter DAO, cool. Shader DAO. Hi, Eric. Will you mind giving us some tips on my app? It's called Cannon Run. Sure. Let's have a look. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen. Shader DAO, I'm going to share my screen, but if you can let me know. I think there's quite a delay here. So we were looking at, let me share my screen. So is it this one here, Cannon Run for Gossi apps? The only reason I asked is the one time I was like going through like this app and we went like really in depth talking about, okay, this was wrong. And at the bottom of the chat, it said like, that's not my app. That's not my app. That's somebody else's app. So, but Cannon Run, let's see. Let's see. Shatter DAO says, okay, I'm gonna show this, but I need to mute the audio because I've gotten strikes. Okay, Cannon Run. Okay. It looks okay. I think Shader DAO, I think you need to get a designer. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think it's and to say it's fun and addictive. Everybody says their games are fun and addictive. I'm not much of a gamer, so I mean maybe that's just easy to play and hard to master. So I see we got like I know I say you don't necessarily have to use the game for the screenshots, but on here you're not using it for any of them. Actually, you are. Actually, it's not too bad, but I think like just the icon and I saw a lot of the graphics in there. I think if you got a designer to work on some of this stuff, you might be able to make it a bit better. But you've got 100+ installs, in-app products, 5 reviews. Yeah, let's go back to Cannon Run. Let's see, free cannonball shooting game. Let's look at this one. Totally different. Cool. I was just wondering whether or not it was. So, oh, let's see. That looks exact same as that one. Okay. Yeah. Just. Ooh, wow. Okay. A lot of these apps look the same. Vector Viral says, is app reskinning works after strict Google policies and is a good business start? I don't know if it was all that profitable to begin with. When I started doing app development back in I started in 2012. I started meeting other app developers in 2013, 2014, and a lot of them were just reskinners. I knew guys who were putting out 10 apps a day. And they were just churning them out. They were like, they would take like a whatever template. They would purchase the templates from, I think, was it Chupa Mobile? I can't remember where there was like a site that sold all these reskin templates, and they were like just churning them out. They were just like again and again and again, which is one of the reasons why the Play Store sucks in some ways, because there was just so much stuff out there. We looked at this just now when I was showing those Canon games. The Canon run from ShaderDAO does look different than the other ones. It looks like but look at the first few of those. They were all the same concept, the same thing. They could have been based on the same source code, but or it could have just been somebody copying each other. But okay. So I don't know if it would be a good business to start the reskinning. I think it's good. Like, let's say you had a client. So I talk about a lot about client works, but let's say sometimes I'll have clients come to me and they'll say they want a game for an event. So an example was we had a client that came and they wanted an app for an event, but they wanted it to say, could you do something like Pac-Man or something? And it was easy to just go find the code and just reskin it to brand it for their branding and their logos and everything like that. Easy, just done, right? We didn't have to worry about all that kind of stuff. But if you put it on the App Store, you're actually in competition with all the other guys. But that's just my opinion there. Rodriguez says, also, seems eCPMs are up. Back to school ads? I don't know. We're just talking about there being a dip in Admob. Umbutha Sampson says, hi, Eric. How long did it take you to earn a substantial amount using Admob ads when you were starting out? It was a couple years. Well, it depends on what substantial means. So it was about a year, I suppose. A year or two. Took a while. And even now, my Admob is like just really low. Like I showed you, it's like making like $10 a day or something like that, or £10 a day, on a good day. So I need to get back on that. Let's see. Rodrigo says you should look at the ADB via wireless. Also, instead of replugging your ADB kill server and ADB start server commands. That's a good idea, because this like. I keep thinking I'm going to end up making the wire loose. Let's see. Vector Viral says, sir, will you discuss about earnings from ads from mobile apps? I think it's becoming tough for new developers to earn money. It was tough before. You focus on the downloads. I mean, you need to get, like, ads are not going to work unless you have a lot of traffic and a lot of impressions. If you had a ridiculously popular application that people loved and they talked about and they kept sharing, then it does. Even with a low eCPM or low RPM, you'll be able to make a decent income from it. But if you're not getting anything, then you're like, if you're not getting the downloads and if you're focusing on ads first, then that's not really going to work. Let's say you had an app. Let's say you have an app that you get 10,000 new users a day, right? And Admob revenue is not paying you. Do you think there's anybody out there that you could approach directly that's not in an Admob to sponsor that app, saying you will be put in front of 10,000 new people each and every single day, right? Your ad, your banners, or whatever. You could do that, right? But I mean, it's just something to think about. Christian Mascio says, hi, Eric. I recently started building my own application in the UK. Oh, cool. I have several doubts about how to do everything correctly and safely, like new account, create a limited. Do you have any advice for me? Creating a limited. So creating a limited company is easy in the UK. I got my accountant to do it. So I had an accountant and they set it up for me. But I think I spent like £100. No, sorry, £100 back in 2003, 2004, setting up a limited company. And I know people who set up like limited companies in the US, and they have to do stuff with the state and federal. So like in the UK, it's actually fairly simple to do. And something like 85 or not, like a high percentage of UK companies are single person companies with no employees. So it's like, you might as well just have one. In my opinion. And like setting up a new account, setting up a Google Play account is not that difficult. Setting up an Apple one, it's a little bit more, it is more difficult, but I have my clients do it all the time. Like as part of the process when we create an app for them, I have these links I send to them saying, here's the instructions for Google Play. You need to set up an account, add me as a app admin. Here's the one for Google for the App Store. Set me up as here. So that's something that should be fairly straightforward to do. And in terms of any advice, I think it's not as hard as you might think it is. I think for me, when I set up my limited company, I was a contractor. And I needed a limited company. And I knew a lot of other contractors, they had their companies, but they were thinking like, I'll just call it whatever my name, or they'll come up with some silly name. And I was thinking, one day I want this to be big. So I sat down and I was thinking like all these different names. I was thinking, because I was going to call it Wroolie Technology or Wroolie Information Systems. Yeah, that was it. That was WIS, Wroolie Information System, because I'm Eric Wroolie. So I was going to name it after myself, and then I thought that was really kind of limiting it. So like if I ever like, what if one day it becomes huge and I need to sell it, it's got my name on it, all right? Or I was and there's also part of me that when somebody says, hi, I'm Bob Johnson from Bob Johnson International, right? You're thinking, oh, Bob Johnson from Bob Johnson International. You mean the one-person company, like where you just like have that grandiose thing where you name it and everything. So it's kind of these things. So for me, I think come up with a good name. That's just me. That's what I would do. But Lulu HQ says, hello, if ads don't make enough money, is paid version of the app or in-app purchases better options? If you can, it's difficult to get people to actually make the in-app purchases. But if you can, like if you provide enough value, then yeah, definitely. Because first of all, you're getting paid for something that you're delivering. You think about how ads work. Ads work because your app is popular enough that enough people are going in and looking at it not because they like ads, but because they like your application, and you're giving them an opportunity to leave your app to go do something else, right? Which is, and you're getting paid for that. You're getting paid to put somebody else's product in front of them, but you're the one who's building an audience, right? So the reason they're there is for your application. So if you could provide something that is valuable enough that they'll say, yeah, I'll pay $1 for that, I'll pay $5 for that, right? Then that's perfect, right? That's way better than an ad which takes people out to something else, right? I think of ads as being that money that you make when you can't get people to spend money on something else. And like I said, I've made a lot of money through ads. So, it's not a bad thing. CoreFunk says using the source code would be illegal for sure. Yeah, if you use the source code. Yeah, I guess I was thinking looking at the source code. Just take a peek. 8848 apps says big fan. Hey, thanks 8848 apps. Can you check my app? Yes, I assume it's called 8848. Let's have a look. Boom, 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 boom. You have to tell me what the name of the app is, 8848 apps, because there's actually a few. Oh wait, here we go. You're actually using your developer name as your avatar. So here we go. 884 apps, all about computer. Okay, so you're doing a thing here where you're reskinning it, all of computer basic course, advanced full training app. Cool, here we go. All about computer. Is that like, is the English right on that? Or should it be all about computers? Let's see, all about computer. Fastest way to learn computer. I just don't like the way that's phrased. I mean, because if it's an educational product and you say how to learn computer, is like how to learn cook, or how to learn. Yeah. Let's have a look at this. Is this an iPhone? Let's see. So you got the screenshots here, and this is very flush to the side. If this is the way okay, so we're looking at the screenshots. I don't want to like criticize the application itself. This is like I would put some margins in here, just like outside the thing. So And it looks very much information based. Let's look at some of the other ones. I know that was just one. Science class 7. Hang on a second. Let me just check something out here. 8848. I just want to take a look at this. A computer network is multiple computers connected together in a telecommunications system. Where's this? Is this something? Is this your content that you've created, or is this something else? A simple computer network may be constructed from two computers. What I want to do is copy this into a. Oh, okay. What do the rest of you guys think? Let's see. Vishu says yes, that's the right app. So what was it that we were looking at? Oh, the meme things with Kermit the Frog. Yeah. So Vishnu says, where was I? Kermit the Frog. But so far my app's not suspended. Yeah, it sounds like you might want to, I don't know what it gets 40,000 installs a month. That's really good. And if they do to suspend it because of the Kermit the Frog thing, and I don't think you. I would think that would keep me up at night. If you have something that's successfully doing the 40,000 installs, I would like swap that out with something else that was less copyright infringement-y, so that you could, because you have the momentum now. Right? You don't want to wait too long, get it suspended, and then there's nothing you could do about it. Let's see. Share dot. Yes, that's it. Okay. Apple Valley says, "Yeah, I'll come on in 2 weeks." Oh, that would be cool. I'll contact you through Instagram. LL says, "Should you get in-game graphics right before launching a game, or just launch it and add the nicer graphics later on?" Should get in. Maybe you should just launch it and then change the graphics later. I mean, it depends on whether or not it's a chicken and egg thing. So are people using the app because it looks really good, or are they using it because it's fun? And so it's like, my concern would be, let's say you have like an ugly icon, but it's really good, right? Are people going to get past the icon in the screenshots if it doesn't look good enough? Because I think if it looked really good to begin with, but then you're talking about spending a lot of money early on for something which may not even take off. So it's like chicken and egg thing there. Phil M. Hey Phil, how's it going? Hi Eric, have you ever had your Apple account under investigation? My account has been under investigation for 3 months. No idea why. No, I never have. I didn't even know they did that. Wow, Phil. I've never had that. Google Play is like, it feels like I'm always in trouble with Google Play. But Apple, no. I mean, it seems like Apple's always nagging. Apple's always like, oh, these apps are too similar to each other. Oh, we're rejecting this for this reason. Oh, we're doing this. But you're like it's like the substitute teacher who you is like, oh, fine, I'll change it, whatever. But Google Play is like the principal who can suspend you. Priyanshu Agoya said, hey, what's up? Arun Chandran, hey Eric, hey, how's it going, Arun? Jay Kapadia says, why we get invalid traffic if we promote our app through Google Ads? I don't know. The only thing I could think of off the top of my head would be whether or not you... I see you guys can still hear me, right? Whether or not it's seeing that increase in ad impressions as being suspicious. So I would see if you can appeal that. Buffering. Shader Dow says, where would you find a good artist? I also paid for these screenshots and also did app icons, but those were so bad I decided not to use them. It's difficult. So like Upwork's a place. I mean, I've had good and bad on Upwork. I've also I use designers in the Philippines. I use designers in the Philippines. The last couple of designers I've had, but I've kind of like hired them on a regular basis. So if it's just like a one-off project, I would go on Upwork, but also look at some of the artwork, like their portfolio stuff. So get somebody who's decent, because there's a lot of people who say, yeah, they're an artist. I hired somebody he was in the Philippines too, but he did some sprites for a game for me, and they were awful. They were terrible. Like it didn't, there was no fluidity in it. It was like a running graphic. It was just terrible, and he took forever on it. In the end, I had to, I have this thing where if somebody does the work, I still pay them. But like he's like saying, "Can you give me a good review?" It's like, piss off! I'm not giving you a good review. Sorry, I shouldn't. I don't know if that's a swear. Some places might be here too. See, Douglas Garcia. Hey, Douglas, how's it going? Hi, Eric. Did you ever buy sell apps on Flippa? No, I never have. There are so many scams out there where apps only have 1,000 downloads, and somehow they're making $1,000 a month. Yeah, right. I don't know. It's like that thing. If an app was really doing well, why would they sell it, right? And it's like if a business was really doing well, why would they sell it? With a business, I kind of understand. It's like, dude, I'm retiring. I want to move on and do something else with my life. There's like, this requires day-to-day maintenance to run this business. But for an app, Shaded Out says, also the biggest problem with the whole thing is it doesn't show up for any other relevant keywords. The downloads are mostly from friends and search ads. What could you... So the cannonball thing, so I took your subtitle and put the cannonball one in, and it came up with loads. So obviously cannon is like really overused. But what else? I mean, so are there any other words that you can use for that? Thanks everybody for smashing the like button too, by the way. Bhupinder says, thanks for answering our questions in live sessions. We really appreciate your efforts. Yeah, there are times where I got something on my feet. There are times where I think the live streams are the most fun I have all week because we get to just sit and chat and nerd out, right? I know some people who will watch the videos and they don't like it if I get too technical or if something's too app related. But on the live stream, we can just go straight in about talking about whatever we want to. So I actually do like doing it, but sometimes I think, especially on nights where I don't have, like, I'm like, I don't know, I never heard of it. But still fun to hang out. Jim says, hi, sir, how are you? I'm good, Jim. Is it worth to spend money on translating my app description? Yes, I think it is. I mean, yeah, but make sure your app description works, because so if you want to change it later, you're gonna have to change it somewhere else. I've talked about this before. I tripled my downloads by translating it. But do not do the Google Play one, right? You don't need a professional translator. You just need somebody who speaks the language, right? Go to Upwork and pick the lowest bidder, right? And as long as, and check their work. I mean, I've had people say, if you get the lowest bidder on Upwork, then how do you know they're not just scamming you? Or how do you know they're not just using Google Translate? It's like, well, I'm looking, so let's say if I needed my app translated in Chinese, right? And there's a billion people, it's like 1.2 billion people in China. I just need one who could speak the language they grew up speaking to do a pretty decent job, right? I don't need a legal scholar. I don't need somebody who's like an orator. I don't need somebody who's like a professional writer. I just need somebody who knows the language and say, okay, how would you say this? Okay, cool, that's good enough for me, right? That's my way of looking at it, right? You could hire somebody in England who has really bad English skills and their grammar might not be so great, but it'll still be better than Google Translate. That's my opinion. I mean, it's like you're spending dollars instead of hundreds, or spending tens instead of thousands. Morris Taylor, hey Morris, how's it going? It says, I'm still afraid to make apps because I don't want Apple, Google to shut down my business, but some apps are best when native. It's up to you whether or not you go native. I mean, the nice thing about going native is that you're always going to be up to date on the latest technology, so you're going to have that there. And we talk about how you can't reuse code between iOS and Android, but you can reuse graphics, you can use API stuff, anything that's like outside of that you can still reuse. And Morris, I want to worry. Apple and Google could shut down your business, but they're not going down just doing it. Like, they're not just mean and like just shutting down businesses for no reason. Usually it's because there's something They assume something's wrong, and some people do push the envelope. I push the envelope, right? And they're like, well, this is a bit more like, we don't think this is good or whatever. But they're not just like randomly going through just stop that one, stop that one, stop that one. I don't think it should stop you from doing anything. It's like saying, I don't want to go on holiday because I might get mugged. I don't want to fly on an airplane because it might crash. I mean, it's this stuff does happen, but there's a risk in the rewards. Let's see. Bhupinder says, "Can you please look at my game in the Google Play Store? Helix Stack Smash Pro." Let's have a look at it. But I'm gonna have to get going here in a few minutes. So let's see. Where's the last question we have on here? So yes, after Moby Studios, Rodrigo Grasso, we're gonna stop because I need to get going. Let's see. Helix Stack Smash Pro. Bhupinder, can you tell me what the app name is? I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right one. A lot of these times, like, I can't tell because there's sometimes I get a little bit like this is what scares me when I look at applications sometimes, because if I do Helix Stack Smash Pro, I put the exact name in it. Look how many apps I have come up, and look how similar they all look to each other. It's something that I've never heard of before. So if you don't tell me who the actual developer name is, I'm just looking through it and I assume it's going to be the first one. So let's assume it's going to be this one. But the fact that there's so many makes me think it's something to consider before you actually start development on one of these things. Now, if this is a reskin, then maybe it wasn't a lot of effort gone into it. But if it's something that you put all your hard work into, it might not be worth actually doing. So I'm assuming I'm looking at the right one. Yeah, my app's the first one. Okay, cool. Elite Pro 11, Elite Pro 01. We have 33 reviews. Cool. 33 total. 10,000 plus installs. Size 35 megabytes. Okay, it looks like. Wait a second. You got all 5-star reviews? Really? Let's see. Let's look at some of the reviews. All right. Maybe they're all 5-star reviews, but let's just read some of them here. Best game I've ever played in my life. Please download this. Who says that? It's too much fun. Never seen a game like this before. Definitely 5 stars rating. Great game. Easy to understand. Recommended for kids as it doesn't contain any violence. Good game. Very addictive gameplay. See, this guy was like, when you got your friends to do it, it's like, he's just like, yeah, whatever. Awesome game. Really enjoyed. Very addictive. 100. Cool. I mean, what do the rest of you guys think here? Again, when I look at this, and I know you ranked first for the full title, but look at how many of these are the same. The icons look the same. Let's have a look here. Let's look at some of the screenshots. Yeah, I mean, that's what do the rest of you guys think here? Let's see. Yusuf says, I lost 4 accounts, my whole family, and I have one more, but I'm not want to lose it. I use different internet devices, different credit cards, and take all precautions to get my app removed by Google and disable Admob. Please suggest what I should do to stay safe. My last Admob account, I realized after losing 4 accounts, Google can track you from location from the app with which previously your ads and Admob disabled. What is it? Why were you suspended 3 times? That doesn't sound right. That sounds really weird. I don't mean to be cynical, but that sounds like, if you're setting up like different credit cards and different stuff, that sounds like really difficult to do. Jim says, sir, just one more question. If someone gave you $10,000 to spend on your app development, how would you spend it? Well, Well, for 10, so for me, $10,000 US, you get a new application developed. Um, let's see. Um, I don't know. I would spend half of it on development and half of it on advertising. Um, but I guess it depends. Yeah, it depends. Vedant sings, love your channel. Thanks, Vedant. Rifat. Oh, I got your message earlier, Rifat, about being out here on the 12th. I should be okay with that. Eric, could you compare YouTube production versus app production with pros and cons? So it depends. Like a lot of people say, I want to do an app because I want to get rich, and people say I want to do YouTube so I could get rich. And it's like both of them rely on advertising, so it's like you have to have and there's a lot of competition too, and it's not as easy as it looks. I mean, I've got 32,000 subscribers, and it seems to be plateauing there, right? And I don't really make a lot of money from YouTube, so I mean, I get clients, and it's fun. I mean, I really enjoy doing it. But when somebody says, it's like, okay, so here's the thing. So doing an app takes a lot longer. I put it out there and it may or may not be seen. I know because I've been building the audience. Like, so if I have an app that does really well and I do the next app, that next app is completely on its own. Whereas if I do YouTube videos, it's different because like I do a video that gets a lot of views, and the next video, there'll be some momentum there, so more people might watch it, or YouTube will be recommending it to more people. But with apps, it's not quite the same. In terms of production, we used to have very much we were producing lots of different applications, and we had a workflow that was working really, really well. And what slowed us down was when Apple started saying these apps are too similar to each other. Like these, you have too many of them. We want you to combine all these apps into one application. And if they were the same code base, that could have been possible. But a lot of them were just different and everything. So it was just like, I still get angry about that. But with YouTube, I think YouTube is really funny because it's something like 400 hours go on per minute, like 400 hours uploaded per minute, right? And I'm so grateful that you guys come to the channel and you come to the live stream and everything. I really, really am. But I don't think it's like a fame thing. I think it's more like we're just hanging out together because it's fun. I love talking about apps. I love talking about software. I love talking about this kind of stuff. It's just, and I love looking at your guys' apps and hearing about your guys' experiences, right? As opposed to I'm putting on a show and I'm just producing content and putting it out there. And when I was doing it every day, it was fun too. It was like, what can I talk about today? What can I talk about today? And it wasn't like, and after a while, because I was doing it every day, it wasn't like, what can I talk about that's worthy enough to be a video? It was like, now what's on my mind? Let's talk about whatever. And it's fun. And I could do an app, and an app takes longer to produce. The feedback loop is longer, so like it may not ever go live. But with a video, I know that I could film it, edit it, and upload it within a few hours, and then it's done. And it might suck, it might be good, it might whatever, but it's done. And it's also you still have that thrill of I created something and put it out there, and you do that with an app too. But sometimes with an app, it's like it takes longer to do. You might, halfway through think, and I think with both of these things, so if I do a client project, for example, we talk about why I would do a client project over one of my own applications, is because I expect to be paid for a client project, right? It's going to happen, right? It's not necessarily the most fun. But when I do a video or when I do an app, I don't expect to get paid for it, but I do expect to have fun doing it. I do expect to have that sense of accomplishment that I'm putting something out there. And if I continue to do it, then I get better at it, and then the money will eventually come, right? We only get better through practice. But that's my thoughts on it, I think. Lulu HQ says, have you any tricks or tips to promote an app efficiently? Because it's a struggle for me to think of a strategy. Even if I think of bringing value, marketing is hard when you start. Yeah, it is. I mean, ads are the one thing which is easy because you can get it in front of people. But even then, you can spend a lot of money on ads and like it doesn't take off. So you want to spend a little bit of money on ads and check to see whether or not it's that people are actually responding to that advertisement before you do that. I'm afraid I'm going to have to get going here in a minute, so I'm going to go through these quick. But we'll do this again next week. We'll spend more time next week. We'll just let's do like a 24-hour live stream. No, we won't do that because I probably could. I could talk. Dude, man, I could talk. I'm going to remove the Kermit the Frog icon ASAP now. I'm just saying, if it's working, what I would do is I would check it first, because if you move the icon, Vishnu, and like download stop, then I would try to like go back to like, it's like, I would just say, like, I don't think people are downloading it because of the Kermit the Frog. Hopefully, it's going to get to a point where there's been so many downloads that people are going to download it because of the momentum that it has, because of the number of the reviews and the number of downloads, and because it's ranking well. But that Kermit the Frog is kind of, something that I would be. Thanks for your advice. Lulu HQ says, I'm an illustrator too. If someone needs to hire me. Cool. Lulu HQ, do you have like a way people can contact you? Bhupinder, first app. My app is first one. Cool. App developer. Let's see. Vishnu says, app developer job or revenue through own application. I think, okay, so one of these is easier to do than the other, which is the developer job. One of these is more fun than the other. I mean, Vishnu, this is an easy question to answer because, okay, let's talk about app developer job. You get up every morning, you get dressed, you go into an office, you work for somebody who tells you their ideas, and then you just code it. Right. And you might be the kind of person who just loves the code regardless of what it is. Right. You just, but me, I'd like to put a little bit of creativity into it. And the people that I do like working with, like client wise, they don't tell me exactly, like I need to have some creative input into it. Otherwise, like, even if it's just a problem solving thing, I need to like just sink my teeth into it, because then it is like, it's still their vision, it's their thing, but like my part of this is mine. Like, I'm thinking, okay, this is the best way to accomplish this problem, this is the best way to design this form, this is the best way to do this kind of stuff. So that's kind of fun. But but it's still not nearly as cool as when you have full creative control and you can create something of your own, and if it does make the revenue, then that's perfect. So you're making revenue through that. You're doing something like where you have that full creative control and you're just putting something out there and it's doing well. As an app developer, you'll get this a lot where people come to me and say, Eric, I'm not really a technical person, but I'm an ideas guy. And, I've got all these ideas. And if the two of us team it together, you with your coding knowledge and me with my brilliant ideas, we could just we could create magical things. You're thinking, wait a sec, who said I don't have ideas? I've got ideas. I've got creativity. I've also got bills to pay, right? So like, if you don't pay me, then I can't pay my bill. That's how this whole thing works. I do client work because I have bills to pay, right? And I need that revenue coming in, right? So if somebody comes to me saying, well, you're just like you're just a guy with these skills that anybody could get, but I've got the ideas that are just so brilliant. Like this, you hear this a lot. So I'll say, XX Coast 2 says, love your channel, by the way. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see. Flock6 says, hey, Overpass apps, I've got a question. That's why we're here. What do you think of creator code? Fortnite, Clash of Clans use them. What if everyone has their own code? When someone buys it with code, he gets a percentage. I've never heard of that. What is creator code? I know I said I got to go because it's, oh my God, it's creator's code. Oh, why am I looking at Google Play? Creator code. I don't know what this is. Is it this one? Support a creator program? Yeah, Floxy, I'm not sure what this is. I can't even see it. Rizwan Ada says, hey, how's it going? What about GraphQL usage? I've never used GraphQL. I've seen it. I kind of like the idea of it, but I'm just a straight old meat and potatoes REST guy. Let's see. It's Alejandro. I say Alejandro too often. Why is that my favorite go-to A name? Let's see. Alfred Wright with a W says, "Hey Eric, are you developing any new apps? Not, I am for clients, but not any for my own." Let's see. Second language. What is JSonic animations like Lottie usage? Never heard of it. JSonic? I've never heard of that. And LL says, I just started an Android developer job for the past 6 months to get skills and experience, but I really want to make my own stuff too. Do that. Like let's say if you're a musician and you want to create your own albums, you just go out and just create your own music and then hope somebody will buy it? Or do you, like, in the daytime, do you get a job? Like, let's say you could get a job working as in a cover band, right? And you just, like, you're the bassist or something, but you really want to create your own stuff, right? That's not selling out. That is getting paid to increase your skills doing something else, right? And that's what you do as a software in your developer job. So you're building up your skills so you can create your own stuff. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Let's see. Lulu says, "Thank you for live. Love your channel." Thank you very much, everybody, for joining the live stream. Sorry, this tonight was really quick, and I might seem to be rushing through it. We'll try to get a guest on here pretty soon. Let's see. Eric, have you ever thought about hiring a team to build your app ideas like do for your clients? I do. I have. I have had that before, and sometimes it gets very frustrating when you give something to somebody. Who doesn't have the same passion for it that you do, and it could be. But yeah, that is something that I do want to do. And don't go live so early. Let's see. And that's it. So Rizwan, I'll answer that one next time. The Lottie by Airbnb. Sorry guys, I have to go because I got stuff to do tonight. So it's just like normally I could just hang out. It's Friday night, but I hope you guys have a fantastic week ahead. Hope you have a great weekend. Stay healthy, stay safe. We'll do some Overpass insights this week, and hope you guys have a great week. I'll talk to you again next weekend or next Friday night at the same time. And sorry, Prague, 5 p.m. is just the easiest time for me. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Winterland, tell me all your secrets.